Pierre, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
All right, please also make my second device co-host so I can turn on my video, please. Thank you. All right, so well, good afternoon, good evening to everyone on this call. Right, welcome to Analytics live webinar. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one because we are going to be discussing the topic data analyst versus data scientist. All right, which role exactly is going to be taken over by artificial intelligence? All right, so we all know that we are in the era of the artificial intelligence, and then we are trying to figure out, there's the question, is my role going to be taken over by AI and all of this? So, right, this is one major question that we are all asking. So 1 second while I just trying to share my video. I'll try to share my screen. Okay. Knowing my screen is visible. All right, so I think I'm visible right. Okay. All right, so welcome again, everyone, to this fantastic session. We're going to have a lot of engagements. We're going to be learning a lot. All right, so let's just dive in straight into the session for this evening. Okay, so like I was saying, this is a live webinar, and we are going to be discussing the data analyst versus the data scientist. All right, so which role exactly is going to be taken over or is going to be replaced by, all right, AI? Okay, so a lot of people are scared because the truth is this, right? AI is becoming increasingly, right, powerful and very versatile. Okay, so people are scared. They're trying to figure out which role is going to be taken over by AI. Is my work going to be taken over by AI? Am I going to be am I going to be jobless in a couple of months and a couple of years? So we're going to do our best to give you clarity as to all of that, right, this evening. So before we get started, okay, I want us to literally get very comfortable. It's going to be a very interactive session where we are going to be communicating and you also are going to be communicating with us, okay? So but very quickly before we get started, why don't we introduce ourselves, okay? So I want you to drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat. So your name and where you're joining us from. So it could be Ken from Canada. It could be Brian from US, literally wherever. It could be Daniel from Nigeria, literally. So let's really get comfortable before we jump into the session. So I can see Ngozi from UK. Hi, Ngozi. It's nice to have you in the session. So Emmanuel from UK, Sami from US, right? Welcome to the session. So we have Boma from UK. Okay, it's going to be a very, very interesting one where we are going to be diving into, a lot of, intricacies as regarding tech roles, AI, right, being, increasingly powerful, right? And which roles are actually safe, okay? So which roles is actually safe for people to transition into, which roles are actually, not going to be replaced by AI and all of that, okay? So I can see the names, and our locations, popping up on the chat, right? That is fantastic. Let's keep that coming. Let's keep that coming. All right. So what are we here? What are we going to do today? Okay, so what are we going to be doing today, literally? Okay, so first of all, okay, we are going to literally break down the data analyst role and the data scientist role. Okay, and then we're going to do a side-by-side comparison with how AI is very effective, how AI literally can do a lot of things that a whole lot of tech roles literally do. Okay, and then we're going to go into the second item on the list this evening, right? Is going to be the pathway to this to becoming a data analyst or a data scientist, right? And the third item on the list is going to be the Analytics Growth Internship Program. All right. And then finally, a very, interesting special discount, right? To the participants that decides to wait until the end of this session. It's going to be a very, very quick session, okay? But for those that are going to be waiting till the end of the session, we have a special discount offer for you, all right? So very, very quickly, so because like we said, okay, we're not going to waste time at all. We're going to jump right into the discussion for today. So a very, very quick one about Analytics. So who are we, right? So we're a leading ed tech firm, right, that is focused on providing specialized training and technology skills, right, delivering comprehensive data consulting services. So we're a leading ed tech firm, all right, and we literally are, focused on helping people of the Black community, transition into tech. Already there was a research that shown like literally, the demographic of people in tech, right? And we can see that the Black community is not well represented in tech, okay? So again, right, we are going to be helping, or we have actually been helping, people of the Black community literally, be able to transition from either the school, right, or from, other job roles that they are currently working at, right, to transition into tech. Okay, so get into tech, land their first role into tech. So that is what we are about. So how do we do this, right? Through, a numerous of our data, program offerings, right? You are going to see that we have programs in data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, right? Cybersecurity and AI engineering. Okay, so we offer all of this, programs, and then we help people pick up high in-demand skills. We help people pick up employability skills that help them transition into their tech. Well, I'm talking about people with zero tech experience. So if you are here, okay, and you don't have any experience in tech whatsoever, okay, this webinar is for you, okay? So now, I'm not here alone this evening. I have a seasoned professional right with us here this evening who is going to be literally, walking us through everything we need to know about data analytics, about data science, about how AI is literally, going for people's job, how you can stay safe. Okay, it's going to be introducing himself in a second, all right? But before he comes up, a form is going to be passed in the chat box, okay? So it's an attendance form. You want to go ahead and fill in that form, okay? Because so that you can get access to the recordings of this session, okay? This session is going to be recorded, okay? So you want to be able to gain access to this recording and also to our, resources and to, that discount that we said that is going to be available at the end of the session. But for us to be able to reach out to you, all right, so it can be a particle of that discount. You want to be able to fill in the attendance form that is going to be passed in the chat. Okay. So a very quick one about me before I jump into, inviting our highly esteemed tech professional. Right. My name is Mobolaji Faluba, and I'm a data scientist and ML ops engineer. Right, with half a decade of experience in analytics and AI engineering. So my experience span data science and ML ops or simplified UX USA, data analytics at Moise Consulting Canada, and AI engineering at Zara Health Limited Nigeria. So I've worked in the health space, I've worked in financial services, and also the ed tech sector, right? So now I'm going to be bringing up Daniel, right? He is a seasoned tech professional. He's going to be handling this evening session, all right? So once it's done, I'll be back. So hi, Daniel.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, a little bit. You want to be able to increase your voice so we can hear you louder?
All right, just a minute to get that done.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up. We can hear you very clearly now.
All right, all right. So good evening, everyone. Nice being here. And I believe that we are going to be having a very insightful time tonight. And a lot has made a very good introduction of what we are going to be doing here. So I, for one, now, I'm a data scientist, and I'm going to try as much as possible from my end to see how I can demystify the differences between data science and data analysis. That question gets asked a couple of times. People want to know, what's the difference between a data scientist and a data analyst. And so those are the things we are going to answer for tonight. And before I go into answering the question, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to tell a little bit about myself. And so my name is Daniel. I'm currently working as a senior data analyst at 10 Analytics, and I have several years of experience, especially in engineering and IT space. Okay, a little fun fact about me is that I studied mechanical engineering in school, but while I was studying my mechanical engineering in school, I stumbled across Python, and then that was what led me into my current role as an IT person from a mechanical engineering background. So yeah, and I have expertise in Python, SQL, Excel, Power BI, machine learning, and I've developed several solutions across different spaces. I've worked in finance, I've worked with health, I've worked around a religious organization, I've worked around academic, I've worked around manufacturing companies. So I have expertise different, whether working manually or working manually or working with AI tools. So yes, those expertise are the things I'm bringing together tonight into this session. And so what are we going to be talking about? Like I've introduced my topic earlier, we are talking about data analyst versus data scientist. Which jobs will be replaced by AI? Now, if I ask you now, are you afraid? I just need a yes or no. Are you afraid? First, how many of you are into tech currently? I just need you to just put your favorite emoji in the chat section. If you are into tech related activity, please put an emoji. I want to see those that are into tech currently. Put an emoji. Let's put an emoji up, please. I need to know that you are following.
So Daniel, I think you're muted.
All right, so I'm only getting a single response here. I'm only getting a single response. That's fine. So I want to believe that only one person currently is into IT roles. So now, all right, I have another one. Okay, Oluwaseun from 10 Analytics. All right, so I guess we are together actually. So now, one thing about these jobs is that everybody is afraid. Will I wake up one day and then I'll discover that I don't have a job to go back into? Because every little place will turn. If we turn left, we turn right, we'll discover that AI this, AI that. Recently, we have different waves of AI, image editing. People can now comfortably go into their what's it called now? They can go into their web browser and just design something, do a graphics design. Yes, do a graphics design. People who are not good at writing, they will just go to their computer, go to ChatGPT, and then they just type in something and then they get a result. So instead of paying somebody to get it done, you see that you can sit down and start doing some things yourself. Why? Because there is now a leverage. And what is that leverage? AI, artificial intelligence. And so we want to now look at it that, okay, so looking at all of this, now I've mentioned certain fields. So something that you'd have normally paid somebody, maybe for example now, there was once a time people want to talk to their lovers and then they would have to write letters. They will have to beg people to write love letters. But these days I can just go to ChatGPT and say, please help me write a letter to my wife. wishing her happy Valentine and put so many other things there. And if you do that, now what is happening? Those things look very simple and straightforward, but the truth is that what is actually happening is some people's jobs are being taken away. That's what's happening. So once we have a system that can actually do something, it means that if there was a manual force behind it initially, then we now have an automatic force or an auto force behind it. This now reduces the need for a human intervention in that particular sphere. That's what is actually going on. So, but before I go deep, I don't want to sound like I'm scaring you, but I'm just trying to give us the reality of what is going on. So, but before I go deep, let's look at the question, who is a data scientist? And I would like somebody to give me an answer in the chat box. Who do you think a data scientist is? What's your opinion of a data scientist? What can you say that, oh, from my knowledge, this is what I think that a data scientist is? Well, there are no right or wrong answers at this moment, but I just want to see what our opinion is on that subject matter. Who do you think, coming into this webinar, who do you think that a data scientist is? All right, so while I'm waiting for your responses, I'm going to go into what I have here. So I want to see a different perspective from you guys. I know you have something more to offer. So from me, now I see a data scientist as a professional who analyzes complex data and in order to extract meaningful insights. Then they build predictive models and solve business problems using a combination of statistics, machine learning, and domain knowledge. Now, what do all of this mean? It means that I gather data from somewhere. Then when I gather those data, I look into those data and then I ask myself, what is in this data? What can I make sense of this data? What can I bring out of this data? And then when they are done doing this, the next thing they want to now do is that they will build predictive models out of this. Now, what's a predictive model, if I may ask? Now, a predictive model basically is a kind of model that help us to tell what something is. For example, I am male. Now, a predictive model can look at me. Let's say I build a machine learning model, and that machine learning model I've built, I can use it to tell an object. I can look at an object and say, okay, help us to determine what kind of object is this. And so maybe I trained it along the line. Maybe I trained it along the line of, let's say, I trained it along the line of identifying gender. So the camera looks at me, marks my face, and then it tells everybody that, oh, this person I'm looking at is male. This is what predictive models is all about. It looks at an object and then it gives a value. Sometimes I know you've listened to news and you hear something like, in the year 2030, in the year 2050, XYZ is going to be happening in the world. Many times, these are the things that go into underground that people use to make or reach such conclusions. And then it will look like wizardry when you start seeing those things. So now the next thing about it, so how does it now apply? We can see these two images. The first file you are seeing here is more like what I call the raw data. This is what our data originally looks like. Don't mind my drawings. This is what our data would look like originally. And then after this, our data will look like this for a start. Now, after this, our data will move to this level. Now, what are you seeing here? For this second part that I just highlighted, this is what we call a dashboard. Now, a dashboard is like a visualization tool. We want to make sense of all of the things that are here. So using the dashboard, it gives you some information. But a data analyst, a data scientist rather, does not stop here. These data scientists will go further and then they will build something. Now, look at this second set. Now, in this second set of items, you can see we have this data. Now, this data, this is where we do what we call engineering. We carry out some engineering activities on the data, and then we now build what we call our predictive model. So the predictive model is what now helps us to make sense of all the data we've put together. And so when I give it an information, it can take that information and say, based on this information that I have, this is the gender of this person, or based on this information, this is who is going to win the Champions League. If I love our football, for example, you can actually build a model that predicts football. So those are the things a data scientist does. Now, how about data analysts? How about data analyst? Before I proceed, I want you to give me a thumbs up if you are following me. Please give me a thumbs up. Either give me a thumbs up in the chat or with your favorite emoji, or you give me a thumbs up through your, I want to see responses. I want to see responses. All right. So 3, yes, yes. Thank you. So I know that you are actually following me. Okay. All right. So now, who is a data analyst? Haven't talked about data scientist. Who is now a data analyst? Now, a data analyst on the other end, their work is a little bit different from that of a data scientist. Like I said earlier, people seem to confuse the two roles. However, there is always people confuse the two roles, but there is a linkage between those two. And I'm going to show you those linkages now. For a data analyst, is a professional who examines unstructured data to uncover trends. Now, this is the same thing we said about data scientists. They make observation. And so as a result of this observation they make, they also generate actionable insights and support decision making. So this is the line where the data scientist and the data analyst, this is the line where they meet. They both uncover data, but a data analyst stops at uncovering data, but a data scientist doesn't just stop at uncovering data. They want to build a model out of it. And in building a model out of it, one of the things they do is that they now apply more complex activities such as statistical analysis or mathematical modeling or algorithm, what we have like machine learning. They now go into those parts and add it to the model so that this time around they can build a model that gives us predictions and all sorts. But for a data analyst would just stop at visualizations and uncovering of trends and patterns. And as you can see from what I have here, you see that I have my data processing pipeline, which is get your data from the source, discover and acquire the data. Then the next thing you want to do is to extract your data. Then you want to clean and transform the data, integrate it, analyze, and then present the data. So this is what a data analyst does. Analyze the data. Now, they take the raw data, the same raw data we see in for data scientists. They take it, bring it to the sales, they bring it down and give us a visualization of it. And when they are done with the visuals, they are going to now do communication. So one thing about data scientists is that data scientists are also able to visualize, but visualization is not the core of data science. So I can visualize, but it's not the core of data science. The core of data science is more of supporting data with scientific proofs, such as statistics and modeling. And there are different kinds of modeling, which if you come to class, you are going to learn so much about them and how to implement them. But basically, what we have here in data analysis, in the case of data analysis, their core is more on visualization. And so there is usually a thorough emphasis on visualization. And so you get them using tools like Power BI, Tableau, Excel, which are primarily visualization tools, those tools that gives us visualization in a very good form, in a premium format. Those are the tools that the data analyst uses. So now, finally, the data analyst focus on summarizing historical data, identifying patterns, and communicating findings. So they look at a data like this. Let me quickly annotate. So a data analyst will look at a data like this, and then after looking at that data, they turn it to something like this that I just highlighted below. They turn it to something like this, and then they communicate it. They communicate it back to the stakeholders. So the stakeholders can now take advantage of this information and act on it. And so these are basically the differences between a data scientist and a data analyst. Now, all of these things are very sweet. They sound very interesting, but there is a problem with all of this. And what is the problem? The problem here is that there is now a tool called AI, or what we call artificial intelligence. Now, with the rise of artificial intelligence helps us to now bridge the gap between all walks of life. It bridges the gap between all walks of life. And this is where the problem really lies. Because now, for artificial intelligence, there are basically three types of artificial intelligence, although one of them is a subset of the other, which I'm going to explain how it works. So we now have the narrow AI, or what we call weak AI. We have the general AI, or what we call the strong AI, and then we have the generative AI. Now, what is narrow AI? Narrow AI is a type of artificial intelligence that is specific for a task. Like that artificial intelligence is designed to just handle one thing and one thing only. For example, if you go to, for most of us that live in advanced countries, you see certain technologies. Maybe you'll see artificial intelligence enabled camera that is monitoring, and then they can quickly capture street events like that, something like that. These are narrow AI. You hear of robots being used in manufacturing processes. These are narrow AI. Now, they are not called weak because they are not so weak. The reason they are called weak is because they are only trained on one particular task. They can only do one thing, and then they'll do that one thing well. Now, if you use Android phone, for example, if you check your phone, there is a feature called Google Lens. Now, that Google Lens is powered by AI. Now, that Google Lens, if you check your Google Lens, how does your Google Lens work? Your Google Lens works such that you can snap things, and then it will take that image of what you snapped, take it, go to the internet, and look for information about it. It can even copy text out of it. That's an example of a narrow AI. So it performs a task, and it performs that task very well. Now, we now have generative AI. Now, generative AI is a type of narrow AI, but many times when we talk about artificial intelligence, we make the generative AI to stand alone. Now, for generative AI, one example that readily comes to mind is your Gemini and ChatGPT. We have Dale also. We have several others that we have the Meta AI and all of that. And even for us in Analytics, we have our own AI called Oluko AI. All right. So now all of the generative artificial intelligence, they are so smart that they can create new text, they can create content text, they can create images, and they can even create codes. And this is where the real threat is. Because of the so many things they can do, it now gives power to ordinary people to do things that they naturally cannot do. For example, now I can just go to ChatGPT, and then I would ask it to generate an image. Sometimes when I'm working on something and I need an image that is copyright free, I can just go straight to I can just go straight to my I can just go straight to my chat GPT, and then I'll just tell the chat GPT that, okay, give me an image about this, and it will generate it for me. And if I have a business, I can go to ChatGPT and I'll ask it to generate a logo for me. I've done that quite a number of times. Now, with this, I don't need the service of a graphics designer. Now, if at all I'll need the service of a graphics designer, I wouldn't need the service of the graphic designer as often. I wouldn't need the service of the graphic designer as often as I would need it on a good day. And this is the disadvantage. This is where the real disadvantage comes in, because many times some people carrying out some of these jobs, their work is going to be taken over by this artificial intelligence. They can do a whole lot of things by themselves. So imagine someone like me who doesn't know anything about graphics, but I can actually do graphic design on my chat GPT conveniently. I don't need the service of a graphics designer. And this is where the threat really lies. Generative AIs and AI generally can do so much that many jobs are going to get replaced by them. And jobs that are going to get replaced by them are jobs, number one, jobs that can be automated. If a job can be automated, then AI can re- replace them. There are soft skills that actually AI can replace. Many fields as of today are going down because of the rise of AI. Now, the next AI that I want to talk about is the general AI or the strong AI. Now, this particular AI is still currently in development. Now, if you follow trend, you see that people have been building what we call humanoids that wants to mimic humans. And this is where this is where generative this general AI, this is where it is tending to, such that we have machines that can reason like humans. They can take decisions like human. They can do things like human, and they can do everything. Just like I'm here now, I'm teaching right now. I can later switch, and then I'm cooking. I can switch, and probably I'm reading, sleeping, or doing something else. I'm running. Those are the kind of things that general AI is going to. And by the time we get there, you can see that people can now rely on machines to do certain things that human will be able to do. And these things, if we are looking at them in perspective, we want to see how we can prepare ourselves. So what are the potential threats to for AI? Now, the first thing we see is job displacement. If I can use AI to do something, then I can reduce the number of human interaction. And that brings us to the second thing, reduction in human intervention. So it displaces jobs, machine replace men, and then we have a reduction in human intervention. And then we have bias and discrimination. But now here's where the real problem, this is where the real problem is. Now, when we have reduction in human intervention, that means there are some work, the real work that people could do and get paid. If I can replace you with a machine, it means that if I'm going to keep you, I will have to pay you less. Because why should I keep you when I can have a machine do your work? And then if I buy the machine once, the machine works for maybe years, maybe 5, 6, 7, or even 10 years. If the machine can do your work for that time, it will save me more at the long run than having human do the work. And with this, it means that people will get paid less. The jobs that will be available will now be menial jobs that would not pay so much. And so, if you are going to now get a high paying job, then you have to be working in the field of tech generally. And that's the truth. You have to either be working in the field of tech or you have to be working in very serious areas that requires maybe nursing or something like that. Now, for tech jobs, remember, people are behind creating these machines. So people that will get displaced the most are those who are dependent on the machines. People who depend on the machine to carry out their work are those that will get displaced the most. So you don't want to find yourself at the receiving end. You don't want to find yourself at the point where you are wondering, okay, so what is my fate? And that's where I'm asking the question, where will you rather belong? Do you want to belong to the category that gets replaced, or you want to belong to the category that gets relevant? And this is where these tech skills, this is where they come in. Now, look at something here. Look at something here. According to Forbes, there was a research that was carried out by Forbes and in March this year, and they listed out the jobs, the top 5 jobs that are safe from AI. There are other jobs, but these are the top 5. We have machine learning engineers, software developers, data scientists, data analysts, cybersecurity, cybersecurity engineers, AI agents managers. These are the top 5 jobs that have been declared as safe from AI invasion. So that means if you are in any of these jobs, you are sure that in the next couple of years, you are going to still maintain your job. And that's what it's telling us. You are going to maintain your job. Now, another thing about this AI is that there are also disadvantages. As much as we've talked about how it is a potential threat and that many things are going to be dropped, there are also potential disadvantages. And part of the potential disadvantage is that AI still requires human intervention. That means man has to feed AI the required information it needs in order to be able to carry out its work. And what information does AI need? AI needs data. AI needs data, a lot of data. And so that's why if you are in the line of data analysis, data science, or even data engineering, you have put yourself at an advantage such that you find yourself where you can collect necessary data, and these data can actually be used to develop AI models. People who are into data are going to be very relevant because people make information based on data. So if you position yourself, for example, a machine learning engineer depends on data to work. Software developer also, they carry out some kind of surveys and everything. By the time you put out their processes, all the processes they have to go through, by the time you put everything together, you discover that they also rely on data. Cybersecurity, they rely on data. AI agent manager, they rely on data. So everybody needs data, including the AI that is going to replace others. They need data. So that means if you take up a data role, you have been able to secure yourself because AI needs you. As much as you need AI to do some part of your work, AI also needs you to get data to do its own work. And so you want to choose. Okay, so if you are in a place where the tool that is replacing everybody needs you, then you are sure that your job, as long as AI is in vogue and you are into data, then you are sure that your job is actually safe. I don't know if anybody have a question for me. Give me a thumbs up if you have been following so far, and let me know if you have a question. Give me a thumbs up if you are following so far, and if you have a question, you can drop it in the comment section. You can drop it in the comment section. Okay. All right, all right. So I believe without questions, it means that everybody on the call is able to understand what I am I've just said. And so basically, you really want to make that decision. You really want to make that decision as to position yourself into the data, into the path for the future. Now, it's not just about now, it's about the future. The world is moving, and you will do well also to move. So if the world is moving and you are static, you are only going to be at the mercy of what the world is doing. So you don't want to be the one to hear tomorrow that you have been replaced by an AI. And this one thing, for people with data skills, AI is only going to enhance your work in as much as you can enhance in can enhance the performance of AI also. All right, so why is there an asterisk against the data analyst? Okay, so why I put an asterisk in front of the data analyst is because many times data analysts and data scientists in some field, they're actually intertwined. Many times you see an advert for data analyst, meanwhile, they actually need the role of a data scientist. So that was why I put an asterisk there. So just in case, many times you see somewhere data analyst or in another case, you see data scientist. And the good thing is that you can use your skill, especially as a data scientist, to apply for the role of a data analyst because you have some things in data analysis. And as a data analyst, you can also try to apply for the role of a data scientist. All you just need to do is a minor upgrade. And with just that minor upgrade, adding programming to your work, and then you find yourself being able to be integrated into the data science field. It's as simple and straightforward as that. And with that, you are able to secure your field. I remember sometimes a particular project I worked for. I worked for this project for a school, a secondary school in particular. And what was it? We developed an AI model that is able to that is able to the guidance counselor. We give him the student information, and then the student information consider the machine learning model, considers the strengths and weaknesses of the students and gives recommendation. Now, this is me building a solution. Now, that solution built already helps to create a new job opportunity. That is leveraging on technology. This is leveraging on technology and this is leveraging on technology to create jobs. And that's one thing about learning data skills. You can actually create an entire job skill. You can create an entire department. You can create an entire department out of all of this. Trust me, you can create an entire department. Yes, we offer data engineering, and for the data engineering course, for the data engineering and data science, just like I said, for the data science, we go into more of data we go into more of data modeling. Now, for the data engineer is the source, is the primary source of the data. Now, the data engineer is the one that prepares the pipeline for getting the data. So they work on things like database, they prepare databases, they work on SQL, prepare database, work with data warehouses, work mainly on data collection. They are the ones that sit down
Hello, Daniel. Hi, Daniel. You're no longer audible. All right, you're back now.
All right, thank you. So another thing is that a data scientist can actually have an idea of how data is also collected. And so this is also an advantage to the data scientist without having to wait for the data engineer to carry out these tasks. So I hope that answers the question. All right, so let me hand over to Mobolaji now. Let me hand over to Mobolaji. Mobolaji, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Daniel. That was very insightful. Right, but I think I'm going to be using your screen because Zoom has locked me out of my other device. So if that's okay, just bear with me for a bit. Okay. Am I audible? Can anyone confirm that I'm audible?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you.
Bolaji.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ken. Right. So it's just a pity. Zoom decided to log me out of my other computer, but let's go ahead with the session. I mean, I've been following so far. It's been amazing. It's been fantastic. Learned a lot of things. We can see Forbes report on AI, right? On the jobs that are literally going to remain with AI. Okay, and that's just really, really, really amazing. So can we go to the next screen, please? All right. Fantastic. So now I'm going to be walking us through, right? So now we've understood, data analytics, we've understood data science, right? We've also understood, where AI stands in all of this. Okay. So now here at Analytics, how do we, come into play with all of this, right? The programs that we are offering, right? Now you understand that, okay, data analytics, data science, okay, AI is not going to replace you. Okay. So now, how do you now transition into this role as a full-time professional? Okay, now what's going to guarantee that once you come into this role, okay, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be easy to learn. It's going to be easy to transition into. Does it even have a high rewarding salary? Okay, now all of this is what we have factored into every program that we offer here at Analytics. Okay, so what we did was that we went to scrape all the top job boards out there, all right, for all the tech roles that it's literally trending, people are getting into, they are in high demand, all right? And what we did was we went ahead to filter all of these jobs through three major lenses. The first lens is ease of learning. So what you want to be able to understand is this: every program that we offer here at Analytics, there are programs, there are tech programs that are very easy to learn. Number two is ease of transitioning. Okay, so what that means is this: if you don't have a prior tech background, so let's say you did not study computer science in university, you did not study engineering and all of those, computer related, degrees, right? The tech programs that we are offering at Analytics, the way it is, it is easy to transition into. You can actually get into this program. You can land a role in this program, okay, without needing a prior tech, a prior computer degree or background. Now, there are roles that, you see in your job description that you have to have so and so degree and all of that. But rest assured, all the programs we offer at Analytics, they are roles that are easy to transition into, meaning that you don't have to have a prior tech, degree or background. Then the final lens is this: a high rewarding salary. So you want to also be assured that every program that we offer at Analytics, right, has a high rewarding salary. That is what you want to be able to, be certain of. Okay, can we go to the next slide, Daniel? All right. So this is actually a research that, was actually undergone by WEF, that's the World Economic Forum. Okay. And WEF releases, the future of job reports every year. So they're literally letting us understand which jobs are going to be diminishing, which jobs are going to be increasing in demand. Okay, so it serves as a guide for people who are looking to pick up a new skill so that they are literally, heading at the right direction. Okay, now in the next 5 years, right, by 2030, 170 million jobs will be created, right, while 92 million jobs will disappear. Okay, so I think there's a question in the chat. So let me just get a grasp of that really quick. Can a complete novice benefit from the data science, or do I go with data, the basics, and pick up data analytics? I feel like data science is for people. Okay, all right. So I can see that question by BJ. All right, so BJ, the truth is this, right? A complete novice can pretty much learn data science. Daniel, let's go to the next slide, Daniel. So while I answer BJ, so a complete novice, right, can actually pick up data science on one condition. It's either, or should I say on two conditions, it's either you have been, exposed to a language, computer language called, Python. Now, when you say complete novice, I do not expect you to know Python, okay? Now, the second one is this. You are very, very much open-minded. You are literally open to learning computer programming language, for example, Python. So a core difference between data analytics and data science is this. Data science would require you to be able to, leverage Python to be able to write and instantiate machine learning models that you use for prediction. Data analytics, on the other hand, you do not need to learn Python programming language for data analytics. All right. A data analyst toolkit, all right, predominantly makes up of, Microsoft Excel, SQL, right, Power BI, Tableau, problem solving. Okay. But for a data scientist, you need to be able to learn how to use Python. So Python is a must-have for data scientists, right? While data analysts do not necessarily need Python. Python can be used for data analysis, but data analysts do not necessarily need to have Python in their programming or in their toolkit. So you can learn, what that means is this: you can learn a data analyst role without having Python. So to answer your question, the approach that we use to train here at Analytics is very, very beginners friendly. If you are someone who's open to learning Python, because people run away from programming languages like Python. They go like, oh, I don't want to learn Python. I don't want to learn coding or anything like that. Now, the path for those people should be data analytics. It is going to provide you the softest landing to getting into tech. All right, data analytics, right? But if you're open-minded to learning Python programming language, right, then the data science would be actually a good one for you to start with. Okay, that's the answer to your question, BJ. So while I continue, so WEF has literally given us, a report on the future of jobs. And if you can look at my screen right now, you're going to see that on the left-hand side of my screen, right, there's a list of jobs, and on the right-hand side of my screen, there's also a list of jobs. So if you're looking to transition into a tech role or literally pick up a new skill, you want to be able to avoid all the jobs on the right-hand side. There are jobs that have been predicted to decline in the coming years. My previous slide said that over 92 million jobs are going to be replaced, and they're literally on the decline phase. So welcome, BJ, right? And about 100 and something million jobs are going to be created. So the jobs that are going to be created are the ones on the left-hand side. So you want to be able to make sure that whatever role that you're looking to learn, okay, or upskill to, is on the left-hand side. So we have the big data specialists, fintech engineers, AI and machine learning engineers, right? We have data warehousing specialists and all of this. And luckily for us, the programs that we are focusing on this evening, data science and data analysts, they are literally on the left-hand side, which means that they are on, they are on increase, okay? And that means that it's a safe space to transition into. Next slide, Daniel. All right, now, so what are some of the job roles that you can apply to as a data analyst or a data scientist? So you want to understand that the job market is a little bit tricky. Okay, you're going to see different job roles when you start applying for jobs. But rest assured, if you pick up a skill in data analytics or data science, you can literally fill in all of these roles that are made mention of here. Now, what are they? For data analysts, you can get roles, in business intelligence analyst. So if you see a job advert and the title is business intelligence analyst, you can literally land that role. Marketing analyst, sales analyst, logistic analyst, supply chain analyst, procurement analyst, operation analyst, product analyst, database. All these roles are under data analyst. All right, so you can literally land roles in any of these roles that I just made mention. Then we move into the data science. Okay, so if you be picking up a skill in data science, what are some of the roles that you can apply for? Number one, all roles in data analytics. So for data science guys, you can apply to every role in data analytics, and I'm going to tell you why in a second, right? Then you're going to be able to apply to data scientist role, of course, then roles in machine learning, right? Forecasting analyst, demand planning, big data analyst, quantitative analyst, market research analyst, NLP developer, and computer vision engineer. All right, next slide. So these are some of the roles that you can apply to when you pick up skills in any of these sectors. So now, I want to quickly walk us through, a 6-step strategy on how we can land a role, right? Next slide. Okay, so now, this is assuming that you have already picked up a particular role that you want to, upskill in, either data analyst or data science. Now, what you want to do is, first of all, identify that career path, like I just said. You want to be able to identify that career path. Then you want to be able to learn with a self-paced and live instructor approach, so a blended approach. Now, one mistake a lot of people make is this: they're trying to land a role, okay? They're trying to land a job, and then what they are doing is they are going to self-paced platforms online like Udemy, Coursera, and YouTube to pick up skills, and to learn all of this. As good as that is in itself, right, it is not sufficient for you to land the role, because the idea is this: those are self-paced learning platforms. You cannot communicate with those instructors, okay? It's all, pre-recorded. So the idea is, once you start to work on a project, you are going to run into errors. You're going to have a lot of bugs in your programming, and you need a mentor to be able to walk you through, okay? All those pre-recorded videos, they have already fixed the bugs in their codes. They are walking you through an already clean, block of codes, right? They're walking you through an environment that has been set up, right, to be able to run a particular program. But you, on the other hand, you are starting with an environment that is not optimized. Your block of codes are going to have issues, indentation errors, syntax errors. And it's not just, it's going to literally, you can actually pick up, some knowledge, from all of those online platforms, but it's going to literally elongate your learning time. And plus the fact that it is not optimized to be able to land you a role. Next slide. So what you need is a blended approach where you have resources that you can learn, and then you have an instructor or a mentor that is going to be able to guide you through all of, the things that you'll be going through. Okay. So now, that is one part of it, right? So when you have that blended approach to learning, what else do you need? You're going to need what we call the employability services, employability skills. So, for example, you pick up a skill in data analytics, right? The truth is this: there is 1,001 data analysts out there. What is going to separate you from the other data analysts out there when you are trying to land a role? Now, this is what we call the employability skills. You need to have, some people also call them soft skills. Okay, your soft skills, your employability skills, they need to be on 100. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of employability services that we provide here at Analytics that is guaranteed to help you land a role. Number one is the CV review and revamp. Okay, now people make a lot of mistakes by using a single CV to apply for multiple roles. So they come up with a CV, let's assume a data analyst CV, and then you're applying to like, 10, 15, 20 different data analyst openings, right? As easy as that, that is to just use one CV to apply to multiple roles, it is not guaranteed to land you interview. So what you want to do is you want to use different CVs for different roles. Now that might seem a little bit tasking, but it is guaranteed to land you those interviews that you need. Okay, so we're going to walk you through how you can tailor a particular CV to the role that you are looking to land. All right, then we are going to walk you through LinkedIn optimization. So another thing you want to be able to do is to be very visible on LinkedIn. So now LinkedIn is one of the highest recruiters of tech labor. I think last year alone, they did hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. So what that means is this: your next job is literally flying on LinkedIn. So you need to be very visible on LinkedIn, have an optimized profile so that all those job recruiters can actually find you and then, shoot you DMs for, interviews and all of that. So then you also want to be able to navigate the job market correctly. So job markets for remote roles, on-site roles, hybrid roles, you want to be able to know which one is going to be the best one for you to be able to apply at. Now, this is where the twist comes in. So here at Analytics, what we have done is this: we have gone ahead to, pay to some premium job bots so that we can have access to premium jobs. Now, what we do is we have our data engineer scrape all these jobs and send them to our students to apply to on a weekly basis. Now, how amazing is that? That you have access to premium jobs on a weekly basis. This is going to literally increase your chances of landing a role to over 90%. Because now you are not only, competing for all the jobs that, all those general jobs that, you have a lot of people gunning for, but you have access to premium jobs that you're going to be applying to on a weekly basis, okay? So another thing is interview preparation. So a lot of people literally don't land roles because they don't know how to pass interviews. Okay, so you need, a set of skill to be able to pass an interview. So when an interviewer is asking you, for example, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? There is a particular approach that you need to be able to, take to answer those kind of questions. So we're going to be walking you through what we call the SIT approach, the STAR approach, whilst you are in your interviews, okay? So following this approach is guaranteed for you to be able to ace that interview. All right, then the job reference letter. So now you've landed your new role. I'm sure that your hiring manager is going to be asking you, for a reference letter. Okay, so for example, where did you work last as a data analyst? We need a reference letter from there. So we at Analytics are going to be providing that for you. All right, and then on the job support. So now you're finally on your job, right? And for whatsoever reason you run into any issue, right, you can reach out back to us. Okay, run into any challenge at work, we'll have a team here at Analytics ready to help you, give you support, at your job so that you can have that soft landing at your new job. Next slide. So once you have all of these, skills, right? So next slide, yes. So once you have all of these employability services, it's guaranteed to increase. The next slide, thank you very much. It's guaranteed to increase your employability index. All right. So what that means is this: you will become very employable. All right. Because now you have the technical skills, now you have the employability skills. All right. So now which skills do I need? So next slide now. Okay. So you're asking so now which skills do I need to be able to, for example, land a data analyst role? So that is where we come in here at Analytics. So I'm going to be walking into some of the key learning areas that we're going to be exposing you to. So as a data analyst, you are going to be learning problem solving. Okay, so how do you approach a problem from a data analyst standpoint? So we're going to be walking you through the Chris DM framework of problem solving, which spells the end-to-end life cycle of data projects. So I'm talking about, business understanding, data understanding, data preparation, data manipulation, deployment, right, and evaluation. So you need to be able to understand all those phases whenever you are faced with a data problem. you also be exposed to the 5 whys of problem solving. Okay, so again, at your new job, whenever you are faced with a project that you are looking to tackle, you want to be able to ask why 5 times. So most oftentimes than none, at the 5th level of why, you would have gotten to the root cause of that problem. Okay, so we're going to walk you through all the problem solving skills and techniques that you need. We're going to walk you through Microsoft Excel end to end. So how can you import data to your Microsoft Excel? Right? How can you clean your data in Excel? How can you wrangle your data, analyze your data, and even build some dashboards in Excel? Okay. Then we move into SQL. And so what is SQL? So SQL is structured query language. It is a language you use to communicate with a database, right? I mean, as a data analyst, right? If you don't know how to be able to communicate with a database, all right, then what are you really doing? Okay, so you want to be able to understand SQL, understand the syntax, and to be able to use it to communicate and query a database. So you're going to be learning SQL, you're going to be learning Power BI and Tableau. So those are data visualization tools that help you bring your data to life. So they will help you literally turn, all, your data that is literally in number format into visuals, maps, charts, and all of that, so that you can better visualize and uncover hidden insight in your data. Okay, so then we're going to also expose you to data storytelling, ChatGPT for analytics, and Microsoft Fabrics for analytics. Next slide. So what we have done here at Analytics is we have incorporated AI into all of our training. So like I was saying earlier, that is why we are literally here today, right? So the idea is AI is not going to take your job, okay? But the people who know how to leverage AI are coming for your job. So what we have done at Analytics is this. We have incorporated the use of AI into all of our training program, such that our students can then be able to leverage AI, increase productivity, get much done in less time, right? And be able to automate processes. Okay, so now the data scientist, what are the key learning areas that you are going to be exposed to as a data scientist? What are you looking to learn? Number 1 is statistics. Okay, so you're going to be learning the measures of central tendencies, measures of spread, how to be able to use this when you are interpreting your data before you get into analytics. Now, a data scientist will be able to do everything a data analyst can do. So that was what BJ was asking the other time. So a data scientist will be able to answer, descriptive analytics, will be able to answer diagnostic analytics, which are the core responsibilities of a data analyst. Then a data scientist will then be able to go into predictive analytics, where they can predict into the future. Okay, so you'll be learning forecasting and predictive analytics using Microsoft Excel. You'll be learning Tableau for data analytics. So how can you visualize your data using Tableau? And Tableau also has some predictive functions with it. So that's why we teach Tableau under data science. Then you're going to be learning Python programming, right? Okay, SQL first. So you're going to be learning SQL also, then Python programming. So how are you able to learn Python from introduction to Python, Python data types, building functions in Python, learning to use Python to instantiate machine learning models and all of that. Then we're going to get into exploratory data analysis using Python, machine learning using Python, computer vision using Python. All right. Then GitHub for version control. All right. So when you are building your models, right, you can build models in versions, right? When you're looking to be able to optimize your models in production, so you can be able to keep track, of the previous models that you worked with using GitHub. Then finally, ChatGPT and GitHub Copilots for coding and Microsoft Fabrics for analytics. So these are the key learning areas that you are going to get exposed to in data science. So next slide. So as I'm speaking, right, there's a form that is actually going to be passed through in the chat. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and fill in those forms, right? Because number 1, you'll be able to have access to this evening's materials and presentation, resources. Then you're also going to be able to, take advantage of the discounts, right? That is where I'm rushing to. There is a special discount for people who are looking to join analytics, right? Start their tech journey and then land roles in no time. Okay, there's a discount for you that I'm going to be getting to in no time. But we want to be able to fill in that form in the chat so we can be able to communicate with you. So next slide. So I'm just going to go ahead and just walk you through some of the, testimonials that we've had, right, from our previous students who came in and, picked up a skill with us, and then they finally landed roles. Okay, next slide. All right, next slide. Yeah, so what are some of our success stories? Okay, so you're going like, okay, Mobology, now, how can you assure me that once I come into this program, I'm going to land a role? Because the idea is the reason why you want to learn the skill is to land a role that is high paying. Okay, and one interesting thing about tech role is this: tech role is going to offer you that flexibility to be able to work remotely. A lot of roles out there don't have that flexibility where you can work from the comfort of your house. Okay, so but once you pick up all these high in demand tech skills, you'll be able to work remotely. You'll be able to earn a high rewarding salary. Okay, so these are some of our previous students, all right, that came into the program and then they landed roles. Let me start with Abdul Rashid. So Abdul Rashid resides in Nigeria. He landed a full-time role as a data scientist with Child 420 in the US, working remotely after training with us on the full stack data science program. So this is somebody in Nigeria that came in for the data science program, was able to land a remote role with a company in the US, getting paid in foreign currency and still residing in Nigeria. I mean, how amazing is that? But we can also see Bukola Adenuga, right? She joined our data science program in September 2023. She completed her training and she landed a role as a people's data scientist with a company in Poland. All right. So next slide. So we have quite a number of people that came into the program and landed. So this is Nathaniel. All right. Nathaniel landed a data science role with the largest private research pharmaceutical firm in Barcelona, Spain, after training with us for the full stack data science program. Okay. Next slide. So again, right, our results speak, for us. We have a large expanse of alumni network that, we're part of our program. They've gone ahead to complete our programs and they've landed roles. So you're going to be like, Mobology. So how, accredited is our program? Okay. I'm in the US, I'm in the UK, I'm in Canada, I'm in Europe, whichever. Is your program accredited? Can we land roles with your program? Based off of your certifications when we are done with 10 Analytics, and that is a big yes. Okay, so we are accredited with the American Council of Training and Development. Okay, so which means that we are big time in the US. All right, you're applying to any organization, they can see that you have a certification from us. They know that okay, that you are a product of high quality. We are also registered in Canada and the UK. All right, so which means that literally, all right, you are good to go with our certificate. Next slide. All right, so we're coming to the end of the program. So someone's going to be like, so now I've heard you, Mobology. What is the next step for me to take? Next slide. So what should I do next? So now, what I'm going to advise you, right, to do is to join us for our next cohort that is resuming the 7th of June. Okay. Our next cohort is resuming for the 7th of June. And this is where the icing on the cake for this evening session is going to come in. We're going to be having a discount for the first 20 people to register for any of our programs. So either the data analytics program, the data science program, whichever program you're looking to register for, we're going to be having a discount for the first 20 people to register for the program. And what's the payment structure, the pricing plan? Next slide. So this is where you are going to literally be able to benefit from the discount for those that are still with us. So I think I still have a couple of people with us on the call. All right. So now it's an entirely 8-month program, okay, where you're going to be in class learning for 6 months. So you have a 6-month in-class training, and then you have a 2-month internship once you're done with the in-class training, okay? So once you're done with the 6 months in-class training, we pass you to another company that we partner with so that you can gain internship experience with them, right? And then you are able to further solidify everything that you have learned in the class training. Okay, so 6 months in class, 2 months internship. All right, total of 8 months, right? And the program originally goes for $900 for the entire 8 months program. Okay, so this is for the technical skills, the employability services, including the internship phase, right? But for the first 200 people to register for the program, right, this night, right, we are offering a discounted amount of $750. Okay, just $750. And then we have a very flexible payment structure. Just be able to encourage people to commit and get into the program. All right, so you can pay instrumentally, where you get to pay as low as $150 every month for the next 5 months. So we have a maximum of 5-month installments. You can pay in 4 months installments, 3 months, 2 months. You can pay just once, right? But you can pay as low as $150, right, for the next 5 months. And then you are going to be able to lock in for these, discounted slots. Now, mind you, once we have the first 200 people, okay, the pricing is going to revert back to the original $900. So we are only giving this discount for the first 20 people, right? And my colleague is already dropping a link to the payment, the enrollment center in the chat. Okay, so you want to go ahead and click on the enrollment center, the enrollment center link in the chat, right? And then make your way into our enrollment page. So let me quickly walk you through how you can make your payments. Okay, so now once you click on the link, it's going to take you to the enrollment center. Scroll all the way down. You're going to see where it says data analytics or full stack data science, whichever you want to register for. Just click on it, right? And then it's going to open up a page for you to make your payments. The pricing is going to be in your local currency. Okay, you want to go ahead and select whether 5 installments, 4 installments, 3 installments, and make all of that payments. Okay, now once you're done making your payments, okay, what you want to do is you want to you'll be getting a receipt in your. Thank you very much, Daniel. I mean, this is very, very fantastic. Thank you very much. So yes, so once you get that link, okay, there's a link that's going to be dropped in the chat box right now. So just click on that link. It's going to bring you to this page. Now scroll all the way down. All the way down. So I'm going to be using data analytics for an example. All right. So scroll all the way down. All the way down. You're going to see where it says data analytics 8 months. So down. All right. So that's data analytics. So for example, if you want to come in for the data analytics program, click on register for DA. Right. So when you click on that, it's going to take you all the way into the enrollment page where you can get to select which installments, right? So, and then you can get to make a payment. So 1 second, the screen is just loading. All right, just 1 second. So then you can be able to select if you want to make, a 5-month installment, a 4-month installment. But mind you, if you are looking to make, a 2-month installment, or you're looking to pay once, instead of the discounted $750, all right, we are going to be offering an additional $50 knockoff for those that are willing to pay just once or pay twice. All right. So if you're willing to pay just once or pay twice, you'll be paying just $700. But for those that are willing to go ahead to pay 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times, whichever is the most comfortable for you, you will still have access to the discounts if you can, pay on time, where you can actually pick one of these 20 discounted slots. All right. So now this is the payment platform. All right. So then you can go ahead and select. So if you can switch to the USD payments, so that I can use that to make. Yeah. So if you can switch to USD. All right. Thank you very much. So now let's assume I want to make 5 months, installments. I want to pay 5 times. So I'll scroll all the way down. All the way down. Yes, so I'm going to select that 150 US dollars, right, and for 5 monthly payments, and I'm going to click on secure your seat. I'm going to click on secure your seat. Okay, so Ogochukwu, so whenever you click on the link, okay, it's going to automatically display the pricing in your local currency. So for you, it's going to be displaying giving you the pricing in Naira. Okay, so whenever I click on the link, I'm using USD to make a scenario here. Okay, but whenever you click on your link, it's going to show you the pricing in your local, so either Canadian dollars, US dollars, pounds. So I'm not using USD to just make a scenario. So when you click on that, okay, it's going to show you the pricing, right? So then, once you click on that particular 5 monthly payments, you can go ahead and click on secure your seat, right? And then, okay, yeah, so click on secure your seat. All right, and then you click on proceed. So once you click on proceed, it's going to prompt you to be able to, put in your information, your name, your email, and all of that, and then pay for products. Okay. So now this is the twist. Now, once you're done paying for products, a receipt will be automatically sent into your email. Okay. Go into your email, screenshot that receipt. It's just a payment confirmation. Screenshot that receipt. And once you're done screenshotting that receipt, right, you're going to come back to this landing page right here. Okay. And you're going to see where it says upload your receipts right here on the screen. Upload your receipt. So just click on that, and then you can upload your screenshotted receipts and every other information that is asking you. Okay. So that way you'll be locked in. A team member reaching out to you, sending you your welcome toolkits, right? And then a link to onboard you for the program. Okay. So we don't need to actually go all the way into all of this, right? So once you make your payment, go into your email, you screenshot your receipts, right, and then come back to that landing page. It's going to bring you here. Then you can then upload your receipts, and then you would have a team member reaching out to you, and you see, voila, you are now part of the Analytics community. And just so you know, every benefit that you are going to be, being exposed to in the community is a lifelong benefit. So we have people that have joined us like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, that still have access to interview preparation, mentorship sessions, and all of these things, right? So they have access to premium job offers. Okay. So again, premium jobs to apply for, right? So all the benefits are a lifetime benefits once you join the program. So the link to make your payments is in the chat. Go ahead and click your link, make your payments, and you have to join the community as fast as possible. We are waiting to receive you. We are waiting to have you join us, and then we can get started building something amazing together. All right. So this is going to be the end of the session, right, for this evening. All right. So if you have any question, drop it in the chat, and then we're going to be attending some few questions before we go. Before we end the session. All right. So who has any question? So just drop it in the chat, and I'm going to be answering your questions in a second. All right, so I can see one of those interested in cybersecurity analysts. So yes, so that is also a program that we offer, right? That's Princess Chiri. Okay, so you're going to see cybersecurity also, amongst all the programs listed when you click on that link. So just go ahead and click on cybersecurity, register for that, and then we will be waiting to have you in the program. Okay. So any other question? So at what point can I start applying for jobs? So we literally tell our students to start applying for jobs 3 to 4 months into the program. Okay, it depends on the program that you are coming in for. For example, data analytics might even start applying for jobs, let's say 2 to 3 months into the program, because you would have covered some core, modules like Microsoft Excel, like Power BI, right? Where you already been to your Power BI, and there are some jobs out there, some data analyst jobs out there that just basically requires you to have Microsoft Excel and Power BI. Okay, so you'll be able to get those data analyst roles. Okay, so then you can start applying, for jobs literally 2, 3, 4 months into your program. You don't have to wait the entire 6 months before you start applying for jobs. So once you start applying for jobs, you have access to your, interview preps, mentorship sessions, and all of that to be able to fine-tune your chances of landing a role. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? Any other questions? So again, we're having the attendance form in the chat box. You want to go ahead and fill that so you can get access to this evening's presentation and resources. Then we also have the link to be able to lock in your spot. So once we have, so don't forget the discount is slot based, right? The discount rather is slot based, okay? And then once we have the first 20 people, the pricing is going to revert back to the original $900 US, okay? So, but for you to be able to have access to the 750, you have to go ahead and lock in your spot as soon as possible. You can lock in your spot by making a discounted, payment where you're paying as low as $150 every month for 5 months, right? So there's also going to be a certificate issued at the end of the program, okay? You're going to be having a certificate issued at the end of the program, okay? So once you come in for the program, okay, you will be able to, in case if, for example, you're starting data analytics and you feel like, okay, this is too easy for me, I want something, more challenging, you would have a 2 weeks period where you can switch programs and then, go for another program that you feel like, okay, this is a better fit for me. But after 2 weeks, that window is, is closed. And then you can only do a single program, at a particular period of time. So you cannot actually do data analytics and data science at the same time. You can't do data science and cybersecurity at the same time. You can only do one program at the same time because of how, intensive the programs are. All right. So the last time I took the attendance form, I wasn't sent the slides. Can you see why? Is this form operational? Okay, so this is feeds. All right, so yeah, so when you take the attendance, right, you will be added to one of our communities where you can have access to the slides from the session and the resources. Okay, so I don't know what happened the last time, but once you fill this, we'll make sure that you get access to these slides, right, once you are added to the community. Okay. So Ade is saying, I mean adding another one in addition to the previous one. So how about moving from one program? So yes, once you are done with a particular program, once you are done, you can definitely then, upskill and add another program to that program, but you have to be done first before you add another program, okay? So it's just one single program at a time, just one program at a time. Okay, so the links are still being passed in the chat. So you want to go ahead and fill in those attendance form and fill in and also take advantage of the discount that is currently being available. So any other question before we bring this session to a close? Any other question? If you have a question, drop it in the chat. Our next course is resuming for 7th of June. So you want to go ahead and lock in your spots as soon as possible, right? As soon as possible. So any other question? Okay. So I don't think we have any other questions. So we have come to the end of our session this evening, right? So it's a 1 hour, 30-minute session. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining. It was, it was amazing. It was, it was a pleasure being able to do this, right? We are going to be we're going to be looking forward to seeing you come our June cohort, resuming for 7th of June. So what is the difference between data analytics and business analytics? So a data analytics or a data analyst is data-centric in their approach to problem solving for any organization. But a business analyst is business-centric, or you say customer-centric in your approach to solving problems in an organization. So a business analyst, they are professionals that go into an organization to be able to optimize business processes, optimize structures, so that they can better increase customer engagement and customer satisfaction. All right. So that is the core differences between a BA and a data analyst. Whereas a data analyst is just focused on helping a company gain awareness of their data. All right. So that's the difference. All right, so it's fine, Ogechukwu, it's fine. All right, so we're going to be drawing the curtains here for today, right? And then I'll be looking forward to seeing you, in a couple of weeks during our June call. So thank you everyone for joining. Cheers and bye for now.